Hi, everybody. Welcome to Something to Talk About. This is a completely new idea I'm doing. So, no shout outs because no passwords for this one. I'm gonna just go. So, the whole idea of these is these are shorter vids. I'm already ranting. Welcome to Something to Talk About. I'll start all over. My name is Taco. This is my semi-scripted, unedited, all one take, show. And my new idea, and this is the first episode of them, will be deep dives, or as deep as you can. These are pretty shallow dives of characters. I was calling them one paragraph characters, but this character is more than a one paragraph character. Flement Brax is more than a one paragraph character, but kind of tertiary characters you'll never see in any of the TV shows of the Song of Ice and Fire world. And I'll be grabbing characters from anywhere from the Duncan Egg to the Fire and Blood history book to the main series. And we're starting with a main series one, and this is Flement Brax. This guy's got a big soft spot for me. So this is just a deep dive into Flement Brax. And like I said before, it's not going to be too deep, and this won't be too long. So please like and subscribe if this is your first time here. I am planning on doing a lot more of these. I have like 2 already ready to go. I just got to film them and get them out. And I have a lot more ideas for a lot more characters. And if there are any very tertiary characters that you want me to do a little deep dive and give my own little comedic spin to, let me know. If you say a character that clearly doesn't fit it in my eyes, just don't be mad if I don't do it. If you're like, oh, what about Brienne? She's a POV character, like that's, she doesn't really count. I want deep dives. So it's a deep dive into lore, but not a deep dive into the characters because there's not a lot. So let's start with Flement Brax. So I always call him the Unicorn Knight, and I also call him Flemmy. So, almost every one of these characters I'm covering, there'll never be a picture or official art of them. So I a lot of times just have to go to like find a DeviantArt page of like something that kind of looks like it. So this is nowhere near what Flement looks like, but I find it really funny. I typed in Unicorn Knight. So this art is by Jeff Chen Designs. Shout out. I thought this Unicorn Knight was great for Flement Brax. All right, so let's talk about Flement Brax. So good old Flemmy is what I call him. Flement wears silver armor inlaid with amethyst and striped purple and silver cloak. His horse head helmet has a spiral horn 2 feet long. 2 feet. That's as tall as a my-size Barbie. I've always remembered that. I don't know, when I was a kid, my sister got a my-size Barbie, and then I got a giant Ninja Turtle, and they were both 2 feet tall. And I remember thinking, my size, we're taller than 2 feet. Doesn't make sense. There's my 2 feet rant. So think of a my-size Barbie on your helmet. All right, there we go. What a weird one. What a weird rant. All right, his horse head helmet had a 2 feet spiral horn on it, and his shield displayed the unicorn, so not like what you're seeing in this very unrelated art. And it's the House Brax symbol. Now imagine that, all right? So we just described this very, purple and pink and silver and horn and unicorn. So I don't want to say goofy, but definitely, out there. And think about who he hangs out with, right? So he is a bannerman of the Lannisters, and he's kind of like high up for them. Like he hangs out with them like one-on-one. He's not just like a random foot soldier. So he's sitting at the table with people like Armory Lorch and freaking the Gregor the Mountain Clegane, like in Tywin Lannister. Like these are his cohorts. So think of these huge, brutal monster people. And he's like, hey guys, what do you think about a unicorn horn? I love him. Honestly, I think it's like a Boy Named Sue situation. The name Flement Brax. I think his dad, like, listened to a lot of Johnny Cash and thought, like, boy named Sue, if I name this guy Flement Brax, he's going to get beat up so much that he's going to become a beast. And it kind of worked. Because he hangs out like he's up there in the Lannister army. Like, it kind of worked, and he just dives into it. He's like, all right, I'm a unicorn. Let's do the unicorn thing, you know? So let's talk more about House Brax. House Brax of Hornvale is a noble house in the Westerlands among the chief bannermen of Lannister of Castle Rock. House Brax was established during the Andal invasion through the marriage of first men and Andal nobles. Nothing really exciting there or anything new. I'm sure the history of a lot of like houses from the Westerlands or the Reach is going to be this, you know. But I wanted to show the unicorn shield. So that's his sigil, is this purple unicorn. So let's talk about things that good old Flem has done. So stuff Flemmy did. Flem was the third son of Lord Andros. Andros is a great name too. Andros Brax. So Lord Andros Brax once visited River Run, attempting to arrange a marriage for the Catelyn or Liza of House Tully, the daughters of Holster Tully. So I just wrote aim high because is that a little nuts? Like, they're being courted by Lannisters, like, because Jaime almost married Liza. Like, a lot of people forget that almost happened. That almost got betrothed, and then he moved to the Kingsguard. And then the Lord of Arryn married Liza, and then the Lord of the North, like, married Catelyn. So Flement Brax tried to get in on that. Like imagine just like a little lower house. Like, hey, you guys want to marry? I got a third son. It's like you think the daughters of House Tully are going to marry the third son of House Brax? Get that unicorn horn out of here, Andros. I think that's just bold. That's ballsy. This guy Andros got balls, is what I'm saying. His dad Andros Brax. All right, so throughout the War of the Five Kings, Flemmy fought with Tywin in many battles, such as the Battle of the Green Fork, so that's the one that Tyrion's in the first book, and the Battle of the Fords. He later accompanies Tyrion Lannister to greet the Dornish party, headed by Prince Oberyn Martell. When they arrive at King's Landing, Tyrion presents him as the Lord of Hornvale. So yeah, at that point, he starts to become the heir. So not the Lord, sorry, the heir of Hornvale. So one of his brothers and his dad ends up dying, I think, either in the war or just during the time of the war. So at kind of more recently in the books, he is the heir to his brother of Hornvale, good old Flem. So he was there when you see the scene in Game of Thrones does it really well when Oberyn's coming up. Yeah, so Flement Brax, it's a much bigger party in the books. It's not just Tyrion and Pod waiting for a couple houses. Like, a lot of houses show up, and a lot of houses are there to greet him, and one of them is Flement Brax. So, more stuff Flem did. So, Flement is called a witness to the persecution of the trial of Tyrion Lannister for the death of King Joffrey. He tells how Tyrion threatened the king, which probably wasn't a lie. Like, Tyrion didn't do himself any favors leading up to that trial, because he kind of did paint himself as somebody who wants to murder the king. We all know he didn't, but, like, he sure looks like he did, like, from the outside. So, yeah, he wasn't lying, all right? Flement don't lie. So Sir Flement leads 200 heavy horse that are part of the force to retake River Run, commanded by Jaime Lannister. So this is later on. He joins Jaime and others at Castle Hafer for the first night of their ride. During the meal, he annoys Jaime for the admiration of the golden hand, and Jaime suggests that if Flement chops off his own sword hand, he can have one. Which, I mean, he's probably just trying to be nice to his lord. Like, hey, it's not bad gold hand, but of course, Jamie, like, that's the last thing you want to bring up. He's like, well, why don't you chop off your own hand then? Like, okay, sorry, man. Just pass the mashed potatoes. Sorry for bringing that up. Well, back at Harrenhal, there is, Flement engages in a training fight with Sir Lyle Crakehall. It was cheered by soldiers. So that's the last thing we got. So, Lyle Crakehall is called the Strongboar. He's gigantic. I would not fight with him. And this is still, it's like a Boy Named Sue situation with Flement Brax. He's got to be kind of, a badass. Like, he's messing with, like, Strongboar Crakehall, who's just this beast. And he probably just has morning tea with the mountain. I love this character. I'm going to end it here. I think that 11 minutes is as long as I need to go talking about Flement Brax, but I just wanted to give a spotlight to this character. So he's in all of the main books, most of them, and he's kind of a background character. And the first time I read it, I never even realized, I never noticed Flement Brax until I heard somebody else bring up, like, the dude with the unicorn horn. I'm like, who? And that's also why House Brax made it into my top 30 houses. So I'm probably going to talk about a lot of the, like, little snippets I brought up during that. But this is, if you haven't seen my top 30 houses of A Song of Ice and Fire, please go watch that. But this is me expanding on some of the tiny little names that I fell in love with when I was doing that list, or before I was doing that list. But all right, there you guys go. Flement Brax. Please like, subscribe, and if you have any, like, actual tertiary names that you really want me to cover, please put it in there. But put it in the comments, and I will either highly suggest or highly contemplate it and do it, or it might not fit, right? So make sure it's like, the less we know about this dude, the better, and it's got to be interesting, right? So he's got to do something cool, but that's all we know about him. I wanna dive into those characters. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay sexy. Don't get murdered. Have a good day. Why did I go with that ending?